So this is where we're at. The tub is moved. This framing's in. So that's where the shower head's going to come out. And this here is where the faucet, the diverter, is going to attach. So that's good to go, ready to go for plumbing. I've even already got the 2 holes drilled to run my 1/2-inch lines up. And the electrical was rearranged in here, so it's good to go. Now I don't have a box for this hole yet, but that's fine. As they come up, I'm just gonna take inventory of what I need, and I'll get it as I need it. Because there might be a few more that I need. Right now I'm really just running. You'll notice there's different styles of boxes and things I'm using. I'm just using what I had kicking around already. It's nice to cycle through that stuff so it doesn't just keep building. So this room's ready to go till I get to plumbing. And the circuit that comes up for the outlets in the bedrooms, that circuit is now pretty much good to go, with exception to one thing. In here, and I have the line marked, there's a line that comes up, and that was the original power for the dining room light. That's no longer the case. So I have to kill that line. Once I kill that line, this circuit's good to go. So I'm going to take care of that real quick, just so it's done. And I'm basically going to worry about all this stuff when I get around to finishing up the electrical, putting outlets on and all that. The only reason I really put it on the other circuit was because I wanted the light switches up and I had a few outlets on that circuit. So we're just going to get everything ready, and then we're going to move on to this circuit here, this mess. So what I'm thinking here, because when I was fishing these lines originally, now I can fix everything from this side of the drywall. It's not a problem. It's a little tedious, but the insulation is really mangled from here down. The other issue is I got to fish lines out top of here, which means I got to drill another hole. And this drywall is in probably the poorest shape of the entire house. The other thing I'm looking at here is we've got this here, which is a pretty awkward joint to fill, and then over top of the door is pretty rough as well. So just this section here, just because of the condition and everything else I'm dealing with, I'm going to make an incision up here. I'm going to remove this drywall. It's going to make it a little easier to work. I'm going to be able to rework behind this wall here with the insulation that got messed up, and it'll make it a lot smoother and a lot easier to patch this back in when we get to the drywall phase. So let's get that done, and once that's done, we're going to keep going with this circuit. There's not a whole lot to do. I have some dead lines to remove from the ceiling. This circuit is actually good going around as it is. All I have to do is, this wire here is basically the end of that circuit. So I've got a stud right here. Just on the other side, I'm going to put an outlet in over here and pull that line through and into a new outlet. Once that's done, this circuit's good to go. So, and then after that, we're on to the kitchen. Maybe plumbing. We got other things we can attend to. So I don't know about you. I'm getting a little tired of fishing lines. You know, I probably shouldn't, but I get a little bored of doing the same job over and over. I shouldn't say that. I mean, what I do for my regular day job, it's pretty monotonous, but I do enjoy that. But yeah, I don't mind the idea of taking a break from fishing lines like that for a little bit. So let's hurry up, get this done, and that might be the end of the day. After that, we'll see. Yeah, who knows? I'm just gonna go till I'm tired, and that's it. Alright, so I made a little bit of a mess. That's what I'm good at. I like making a mess and I like cleaning it up. You know, I tell my kids that too sometimes. It's alright to make a mess as long as you clean it up. They don't really follow that rule too well, but they'll learn. So I've already got some holes drilled up here. I've got 2 lines to run and I got 2 holes. That's convenient. So I've got to run. So these lines here are still live. So when I go to throw them in the box, I'm just going to kill the breaker, throw them in, and do what I got to do. And this is the exterior light. Here is a very sloppy hole that I'll be foaming up before I seal all this back in. And the 2 lines that I have to run out here. So I have 1 line that I have to run to this box here, and that's going to be the foyer light. And then the next line is going to go up and down right here. And I'm going to have an outlet here and an outlet here. And I'm going to start with that. I'm going to throw these boxes on right now and get that line run. These 2 lines are going to be pretty quick and easy. And the next line, of course, as I mentioned before, I got to add a little box here, and that's going to terminate with this line. It's going to terminate the circuit right there. And the other thing I'm going to do, since I got everything exposed, there's no doorbell on this place. Well, there was a doorbell. I don't know where the wires are. They must have been buried a long time ago, unless... Let's have a look out here, actually. Kind of dark, but... Unless the doorbell is behind this doodad. Nice to know I put it on solid. There's 1 eyesore gone. Yeah, there's oh, there it is there. And that is a terrible, it's very hard to see in the dark, but it's going through the door jamb. That's a terrible location for a doorbell. I'm going to put it out here a little bit, because should we ever want a Ring doorbell or something like that, and we might actually have one to install there, you're going to want it a little bit away from the door. You can't mount it on something that narrow, and I'm going to be replacing all this jamb anyway pretty soon. So I'm going to get the bell wire in. I'm going to drill that through, and we'll go over the basics of installing bell wire. It's actually super simple. So that's going to run through this cavity here, right about there. It's going to go up, and it's going to drop down. I'm going to throw the chime somewhere around here. That's where I'm going to rough in the wire. And from there, it's going to go down through the floor, and I'm going to run it to the furnace room. That's just a convenient spot to put it, because you have to have a small transformer that steps the electricity down from 120 to either 16 or 24 volts. I think it's mostly 24 volts here in the US. So from the transformer, you run your lines up to the chime, and from the chime to the doorbell, and it's just 18 gauge 2 wires that run all the way through, low voltage line, and that's all you need for your doorbell. It's quite simple, but what confuses people is you have a red and a white wire running to the chime and a red and white wire running to the doorbell. So the red wire is supposed to be tied together at the chime. It's just the white wires that tie in at the chime, and the red wire is just to complete the circuit. So that just has to be tied together. And what I typically do for that is, I'm not going to cut the wire where it's going to get stubbed out at the wall. I'm going to leave it bundled up, and when I go to install the chime, I'm only going to cut the white wire. So I'm going to leave the red wire intact, and it's just going to be a through line. So that's how I typically do them. So we'll get that roughed in now, and of course we'll have to start that in the basement. I know I started outside, but you start down in the basement, and that's where we'll run it up from. Alright, so we're now ready to get the bell wire in, and I'm probably going to call it a night after that. Well, I'm going to get this cleaned up first. But yeah, I'm getting pretty tired at this point. So for that, because I'm dealing with smaller wire, smaller holes, it's a little tougher to deal with. I have a special drill bit for dealing with this. So I have this long bit here. It's obviously narrower than the bits I've been using for the rest of the wire. But what's unique about this, and let's see if I can point it the right way. Looks different to me than it does to you in the screen. You know, if I just use it, it might make it easier. So it has a little hole in it right there, and you'll see it pokes right through, and then it fits inside the lining of the bit. So the point of that is I can use this to fish the line back through. So I'm going to start with a hole through the floor up here where I want it to stub through. I'm going to keep it down in the furnace room area, or close to it. It doesn't have to be in the furnace room because I can run it anywhere from there. It's a really small bundle. This is 50 feet in my hands, so it goes a pretty long ways. So I'm going to run it from there up to where the chime is going, and I'm going to have it where it stubs through the wall, and then I'm going to line. It's getting late. And from there I'm going to run it through the attic and out to where the doorbell goes. And that's it. Not much to it until we actually get to installing the doorbell. Lost the white line. Oh man. It's definitely end of the day. So we're coming to the end of a long day, and time to get some cleanup done, and I'm ready to go to bed. So let's get this done. Well, that was a bit of a day. And the annoying thing of doing this kind of work is, you work pretty hard, and it doesn't always show. Running wires, things like that. It could be a lot of work just in one run. But you don't really, you don't feel the visual completion at the end every time. But it's definitely there. So we actually did, a decent amount today. So got the tub framed in. This is all cleaned up. This was a bit of a mess. And, the wiring looks quite a bit simpler all the way around the house at this point. A lot of these excess wires have been removed. Most of them were dead lines or lines that were cut inside the ceiling as it is, and, circuits that are dead. This whole area, it looks like a mess right now, but it's actually quite a bit simplified. That won't be an issue at all, not compared to what we've done so far. And yeah, I got 3 circuits done. And of the 3 circuits that are done, the nice thing about that is they're the only ones that I really have to start fishing through walls or anything crazy. There's a little bit of that I'm going to have to do when I get into the kitchen. But it's nothing compared to what I've done in the last few days, basically, with these 3 circuits. So all the hard work is basically done with the electrical. That is the hardest work, and it's over. So the rest of it should sort of fly. Till I get to the garage, of course. That's going to be a whole different ball of wax. But we'll tackle that when we get to it. But yeah, until then. Wow, that is a lot of brain fog. But till then, just remember, if you're liking the show so far, if you like, share, subscribe, it goes a long way to help the channel, and we really appreciate it. And we'll be sure to see you in the next one. Till then, bye.